Now, page 4, Trump time to defy the federal courts. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the president to constitutionally and legally act on behalf of the American people. Yes, build the wall unilaterally without Congress. And when he does this, using the statutory authority vested in the chief executive, there will be legal hell to pay. Everyone, from the radical state attorney general of California to the ACLU, will open fire legally at the president's lawful action to permanently secure our southern border. However, so what? This White House is ready to fight back. But what if the president simply cites the U.S. Constitution and tells the courts no? What if he educates these radical lawyers dressed in black robes and saying, no, you don't have any say in this? What if the president dictates to the fascist left that the Article 3 branch of government has no role whatsoever in national security, no role in immigration matters? Also, that the courts have no constitutional authority to block building the wall. What if? If not now, then when? And who knows? Maybe along the way, Democrat genius lawmakers like Catherine Clark, radical from Massachusetts, might just learn something.
I'd like to add one story that I heard recently from Secretary Johnson about a port.
This would be Jeh Johnson. Jeh Johnson, he calls himself, but he spells his first name J-E-H. Jeh Johnson, and he was Barack Obama's Department of Homeland Security secretary. He was a radical stooge in that position. So consider the source as this congresswoman tells this story. Roll tape.
Of the border that has existing steel slatted walling, which very similar to one of the many proposals the president appears to support.
Stop the tape. It's a steel slat. Let me explain something to those who don't understand what exists at the border right now. Sometime after World War II, the Army Corps of Engineers went down there with some corrugated steel that was about, maybe about 8, 10 feet high, and they welded it all together along certain sections of the border. Not all of the border, but certain sections of the border. That fencing still exists. If you go down to TJ, for example, and you look right at the border, that old corrugating fencing still exists. Yeah, there's holes in it because it didn't work very well, but the effort was there. Okay, so this exists now, but then if you also look beyond, you will see south of San Diego, north of TJ, a no man's land created by a new wall, which was built by Bill Clinton, the Clinton administration, in Operation Gatekeeper in 1994 and 1995. And these are pillars, cement pillars, maybe about 10 inches wide and about 15 feet tall, and they're maybe about 6 to 8 inches apart, small enough that a human being cannot fit through them, and yes, you can see to the other side. This is similar to what the president is proposing. What I'm hearing is that there'll be a mixture of concrete and steel. This is what the president wants, similar to what exists south of San Diego, compliments of Bill Clinton. So one would imagine that possibly those could be steel pillars, and you pour the concrete in the middle of it to make it firm, and it would work. It would work just as it worked south of San Diego and brought illegal immigration virtually to a halt south of San Diego. But this woman doesn't want that to happen. This woman doesn't want to give President Trump a victory. It's not a victory for President Trump. It's a victory for us. Roll tape.
A little hard to negotiate with a plan that keeps changing.
Stop tape. The plan is not changing. It needs to be modified depending what terrain you're talking about. If you're talking about the desert, it needs to be built maybe a different way versus something that's closer to the Rio Grande. Nothing has changed. The bottom line is we need to secure permanently, once and for all, our southern border. That has not changed. Roll tape.
Described that without the right personnel and technology, meaning sensors on this portion of wall, the cartels were able to blow a hole through it that was large enough that they could drive their vehicles unimpeded.
Stop tape. Okay. Does this woman not realize that she's making an argument for robust permanent border security? Sure, they can blow a hole through the old corrugated metal that's been sitting there for decades and deteriorating. Of course they can do it. But if they try and do it to the new barrier south of San Diego, You don't think that the Border Patrol, it would take a heck of a lot of explosives to blow a hole through these pillars, and this is exactly what the President of the United States is proposing for most of, not all, but most of our southern border.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.